You've been told the housing market is broken, too expensive, too few homes, rates too high, nobody's selling, and you're not wrong about any of that. But broken implies that it happened by accident. What I'm going to show you today is that the market isn't broken. It's being held in place, deliberately, by three specific artificial mechanisms that most buyers, sellers, and even agents don't fully understand. Forbearance, rate buydowns, institutional holds. By the end of this video, you'll see the market completely differently, and you'll know exactly what to watch for. Before we get to the mechanisms, you need to understand why they matter. 83% of American homeowners have a mortgage rate under 6%. Let that sink in. The average rate for someone who bought or refinanced in 2020 or 2021, around 2.9%. Today's rate, 6.75%. That's a 3.85% gap, and that gap is the entire problem. On a $400,000 mortgage, that difference is roughly $900 more per month. So your neighbor, who bought in 2021 at 2.9%, has no financial incentive to sell. They move, they lose their rate forever. They'd be paying $900 more a month for the same size house somewhere else. This is called the lock-in effect, and it has frozen inventory in a way the market has never seen before. But here's what most people miss. The lock-in effect is only part of the story. What's keeping it locked in place are three artificial mechanisms working on top of it. Mechanism number one, forbearance. When COVID hit in March 2020, the government allowed homeowners to pause their mortgage payments. No questions asked, no documentation required. They didn't have to sell, they didn't have to get foreclosed on, they just waited. At the peak, May 2020, 4.3 million loans were in forbearance. That's 4.3 million households that didn't have to sell, 4.3 million homes that never hit the market. Today, that number has dropped all the way down to 180,000. Just 0.36% of all mortgages. That's the good news. Most people made it through. But here's the number nobody's talking about. Since March 2020, mortgage servicers have given forbearance to approximately 8.6 million borrowers total. 8.6 million homeowners who never had to list their homes, never had to sell under pressure. Their homes never hit the market. Think about what 8.6 million listings would have done to inventory. Think about what 8.6 million forced sales would have done to prices. The 2008 crash happened because millions of homeowners couldn't pay and had no safety net. Forbearance was the safety net, and it worked, which means the market never reset the way people expected. Those 8.6 million listings, they're still not coming. Mechanism number two, rate buydowns. You've seen the ads. Rates as low as 3.99%. Builders offering tens of thousands in incentives. Here's what's actually happening behind that number. The market rate right now is 6.75%, but in Q3 of 2025, the average mortgage rate for new construction buyers was 5.27%. And some builders, like Meritage Homes this spring, were running promotions at 3.99%. That's not the market. That's a builder paying cash up front to reduce your interest rate. This isn't a one-off promotion. 65% of builders have been offering incentives for 11 consecutive months. This is the new normal in new construction. Pulte Group was averaging over $52,000 in incentives per sale on a $600,000 home. A standard 2-to-1 buydown on a $400,000 loan costs the builder about $8,600 up front. And here's the part nobody explains. A buydown doesn't lower the price of the home. The home still costs what the builder is asking. When the buydown expires, or when you refinance, you're back to market rate. Builder incentives are real, and they can save you money, but a 3.99% rate on a $500,000 home is not the same as a $500,000 home at 3.99%. Before you sign anything, ask what the price is without the incentive. That's your real number. Mechanism number three, and this is the one that makes people angry. Honestly, it should. Wall Street firms, investment companies with billions in capital, have been buying single-family homes across America and turning them into rental assets. Homes that could have been sold to families, sitting on balance sheets in New York. Let's put some names and numbers to it. Freedom Partners, 95,000 single-family homes. Progress Residential, 85,000. Invitation Homes, 80,000. Blackstone, 58,000. Just those four firms, over 318,000 homes. None of them are for sale. They're performing rental assets on a balance sheet. Now, nationally, institutional investors own about 3% of all single-family rentals. And a lot of economists will tell you that's not enough to move prices across the whole country. They're not wrong, nationally. That's not the whole story. In Atlanta, where I work and live, large institutional investors control 25% of single-family rentals. 1 in 4 homes that could have been sold to a family is sitting on a Wall Street balance sheet. That's not a national statistic. That's your neighborhood. Now, I have to address the misinformation circulating online right now. You've probably seen the post, BlackRock is buying all the houses. That's wrong. BlackRock does not own single-family homes. The company people are confusing them with is Blackstone, a completely different firm. The corporate ownership is real. The viral post is just wrong about who. I'm not here to give either of them a pass, but if you're going to be angry, let's be angry at the right people with the right facts. So what's being done about it? In January 2026, President Trump signed an executive order titled Stopping Wall Street from Competing with Main Street Home Buyers. It directed federal agencies to restrict large institutional investors from purchasing single-family homes that could otherwise go to families. It's signed. Implementation is ongoing. Then, in March 2026, the Senate passed the ROADS Act, the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. This bill would prohibit any investor owning 350 or more homes from purchasing additional single-family properties. It hasn't become law yet. It passed the Senate, but it has to go back to the House for reconciliation. Watch this one. Because here's what happens if it passes. Institutional investors owning 350 or more homes cannot buy more single-family properties. Some may be forced to divest. That means inventory entering the market that has never been available to regular buyers before. The people who understand what's coming will be positioned for it. The people waiting for a crash won't be. So here's where we land. Number 1, stop waiting for a crash that isn't coming the way you think. The mechanisms holding this market up are structural. A 2008-style collapse requires conditions that simply don't exist today. Number 2, understand what builder incentives actually are before you sign. A rate buydown saves you money, but know the real price without it. Number 3, watch the ROADS Act. If institutional investors are forced to divest, that's your window. Be ready. I'm Scott, retired Air Force, Atlanta Realtor. I don't sell you a story, I show you the data. If this helped you, share it with someone who's been sitting on the sidelines. Drop your questions in the comments. And subscribe, because next week we're getting into zoning and why the government itself is the reason new homes cost $400,000 minimum.